Hello my friends, and welcome back to another video. My name is Amanda and welcome to Amanda's Kitchen. Today's video is all about zucchini because the garden harvest is in full swing and this thing is gigantic. Now I didn't grow this, but a friend of my mom's did, and she's like, I know who I could give it to. So we are going to make 3 different recipes using zucchini today. Essentially, we're gonna do a whole day of eating, starting with breakfast, then moving to lunch and dinner, all having zucchini as the star of the show. So we are going to start out today's video with some chocolate zucchini bread, and then we're going to move into some zucchini pancake wrap situations. We'll see, for lunch. And then for dinner, we are going to make a delicious zucchini pasta. So come along if you have a surplus of zucchini and you need some ideas to use them up, because I got you covered for today. Let's get into it. All right, so the very first thing that we have to do is actually grate this zucchini. And since we're using it in 3 ways, I think I might just grate it all and then measure it and go from there, because that makes the most sense. Because, whoops, sorry, I'm using my phone. That might just be the easiest way to do it at this point. So let's do that. You know, thinking about this now, I could have used my food processor and this would have been a lot easier and faster, but I've already committed to dirtying this dish, so we're going to power through it.
So now that we have all of this zucchini grated, the first thing we're gonna do is gather about 1 cup of the grated zucchini and just kind of pat it dry. This is for our 1 bowl zucchini bread recipe. So I just measured out a cup, patted it dry just to remove some of the excess moisture, and then started assembling my ingredients. So into a bowl, we're gonna add our oil, our plant milk, some vanilla extract, ground flax seed, and then brown sugar, and then whisk this up until it is pretty much combined. And then once we have a nice pretty smooth mixture, we're going to fold in our semi-dried zucchini, give that a little bit of a stir, and then add in the rest of our dry ingredients. So for this recipe, we're going to add in some all-purpose flour, baking powder, baking soda, salt, and cinnamon, and then just very gently fold this in until kind of all the white flour is combined. You don't want to overmix because the bread will become dense. And then optionally, you could mix in kind of whatever you want, chocolate chips, some nuts. I chose to go with some dairy-free chocolate chips and some chopped walnuts, just because I just love that combination in like sweet breads like this. I do this with banana bread also. Pecans would also be really good here. So then once that is all mixed together, we're going to take our baking dish and line it with parchment paper, and then very carefully add the batter into our lined baking pan. You can definitely also make muffins with this if you choose. I just thought a loaf would be nice. And then I did top it with a little bit more chocolate chips and nuts, and then baked this in the oven at 350 for about 50 minutes, or until a inserted toothpick came out clean. And I will link the recipe I use for this down below. It's definitely going to be on my rotation. It was so delicious. 10 out of 10 recommend.
Okay, so the second recipe that we are going to be making is a wrap pancake, and this is inspired by a scallion pancake, which I will leave a recipe for that below. But essentially, we're going to be using some fresh corn, because again, garden harvest is in season, some zucchini, and I'm gonna throw some scallions in there just to give that vibe. But to use this protein flour that I have, I thought I had chickpea flour, but this is what I have. So essentially you could use chickpea flour. You could probably even use regular flour, but I wanted to boost the protein content of this because it's just kind of as it is. So let's get things prepped for that.
And then for our next recipe, we're making our zucchini pancakes. So the first thing I'm gonna do is remove the corn kernels off of my fresh corn by placing a tiny bowl inside a big bowl and just cutting each side off until all I have is the kernels, placing those in a bowl and setting them aside. Then I'm gonna add 3/4 of a cup of the protein flour and a 1/4 cup of the regular flour and whisk that up. And then I'm gonna add about a cup of water. Honestly, I wanted this batter to be thinner, but I don't know. Oh my God, that was my cat. I'm sorry. Oh God. But it just didn't really turn out how I wanted. I ended up using actually 1.5 cups of protein flour and 1/2 cup of regular flour, a cup of water, 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. That was my actual measurements there. Oh my gosh. And then I went and grabbed some green onions out of my herb garden to use for these pancakes. After the dough was set, I made a quick sauce with some cashew yogurt, dill, a little bit of lemon juice, garlic powder, and salt and pepper, kind of like a play on tzatziki, like without the cucumber. I just thought a creamy dip would be good to go with these pancakes. And then I added in my corn, zucchini, and scallions and mixed that up. I ended up using about a cup of zucchini, a 1/4 cup of corn, and 1/3 cup of the green onions. And then I will type out the recipe for these pancakes and the yogurt sauce in the description below because I kind of mess it up here. But my cat was being obnoxious, so she scared the crap out of me. And then I kind of rolled these into about 1/4 cup balls and then just fried them up in a frying pan with a little bit of oil. Since the dough was a little bit thicker than I wanted, I ended up just kind of pressing it down into a pancake shape. Be really, really careful if you decide to do this. I don't really recommend it because the oil was hot and it was splattery, but I was just going with the flow here. And I repeated this with all the batter, and then I tasted one of them after it was cooked and I felt like it needed a little bit more flavor, so I just sprinkled a little salt and pepper on the dough before I fried it. Fried them all up. I ended up with about 8 pancakes and then enjoyed. I made a nice stack of these, added on some of my yogurt sauce, and this was actually a really tasty lunch. I just heated up the extras in the air fryer when I went to eat the rest, and it was very tasty.
All right, my friends, third and final zucchini dish is dinner. Let's get into making our creamy zucchini pasta.
And then for our last recipe, we're making a zucchini pasta. So I added a pot of hot water to boil for our pasta, and I'm just using fettuccine. Any long noodle would be good for this, like spaghetti or whatever. And then we have the water going. We're gonna prep our veggies. I'm gonna chop up 1 yellow onion, and then we're gonna use about 3 to 4 cups of shredded zucchini here, so just note that. I added about 3 to 4 tablespoons of vegan butter into a pan and fried up my onion. After that was a little bit translucent, I added a sprinkling of salt, and then I did add some garlic. I don't think I actually filmed that. I did 4 to 6 cloves of garlic. Oh, there it is that I chopped up. I got ahead of myself. I just wanted to make sure I salted my pasta water. So I was kind of jumping back and forth here. And then I let that cook for probably 5 minutes or so until it was nice and translucent. Added in my zucchini, kind of stirred that up. And then I did end up adding just a pinch of red pepper flakes just to give us a little bit of heat and a little more salt and pepper to taste. Definitely just kind of taste it and add a little bit as you go. I think I ended up using about a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and then added a little bit more at the end. And then after my zucchini cooked down for about 8 to 10 minutes, my pasta was done at this time. I reserved about a cup of pasta water and then rinsed my pasta in cool water to stop the cooking process. Here's me adding that final tablespoon of butter since I only did 3 in the beginning. And you see it kind of cooks down and it gets nice and creamy. And then once you have gotten to that point, you'll add the pasta in, give it a nice stir, add in that pasta water, and this just creates a nice creamy sauce without having to add any milk or cream. The pasta water itself really allows the kind of buttery sauce that we have made to cling to the pasta. And I know I've been talking this whole time, but I want to apologize for my voice. My allergies have been like totally like kicking my butt, so I'm having a hard time here. And then the last thing I did is I added a handful of chopped basil once I took this off of the heat. This was from the garden, and if you wanted to boost the protein content of this meal, you could add a can of chickpeas or white beans, or even make some crispy tofu to serve up with this. I just didn't feel like doing it this day. The final touch for this dish is adding a squeeze of lemon juice just to brighten everything up, and then enjoy and serve as is. I hope you guys enjoyed these recipes. Let me know in the comment section below what one was your favorite or what your favorite way to use zucchini is.
Well, that is a wrap with today's videos, my friend. I hope you enjoyed these recipes. Our delicious chocolate walnut zucchini bread, our savory zucchini pancakes, and our creamy zucchini pasta for dinner. Let me know in the comments below which recipe you enjoyed most. And if you liked this kind of video, if we want to try a different vegetable or something, doing it 3 different ways, trying to make a breakfast, lunch, and dinner out of it, it was kind of fun. I really just wanted to use up this massive zucchini that I had, so it just came to me. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments down below. And if you're new here, I just want to say welcome and thank you so much for sticking around for this whole video. Like this video if you found it useful and fun to watch, and subscribe if you're new. Please consider sharing these videos with your friends. I really enjoy making content here. I want to continue to do so, and I'm really looking forward to build this channel. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks again for sticking around with me. I'll see you in the next one. Whoa, what? I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.